sat on the cold metal floor of the space station and stared at his empty hands. 3 days ago, he had been a cargo engineer on the transport ship Morning Star. Now he had nothing. The pirates had come fast. They destroyed his ship and took everything valuable, escaped in a pod, barely alive. The pod brought him here to Station 47, a small trading post at the edge of known space. He tried everything. The station authorities told him they did not help humans without credits. The merchant guilds laughed at him. The other travelers looked away when he asked for food. Nobody wanted to help a stranded human with no money and no way to pay them back. On his 4th day without food, collapsed near a repair shop in the lower section of the station. The shop was small and old. Strange tools hung on the walls. The air smelled like oil and metal. When opened his eyes, he saw a face looking down at him. It was not human. The creature looked like a large turtle that walked on 2 legs. Its shell was brown with green patterns. Its eyes were big and kind. It spoke in a soft voice through a translation device on its chest. "You are sick," the creature said. "Come inside." Wanted to argue, but he was too weak. The creature helped him stand and brought him into the shop. Inside, another similar creature was working on a broken engine. This one was smaller and younger. "Father, who is this?" the younger one asked. "A person who needs help," the older creature said. "Bring water and food." Learned their names. The older one was called Moth. He owned the repair shop. His daughter helped him with the work. They were a species had only read about once. The galaxy considered them weak and unimportant. They had no military, no powerful friends, no valuable resources. Most species ignored them. But they did not ignore. Moth gave him water and a strange blue soup that tasted like vegetables. Brought him a blanket. They cleared a space in the back room where could sleep. "I cannot pay you," said. His voice was rough from thirst. "I have nothing." Moth's big eyes blinked slowly. "We do not ask for payment. You need help. We have food and space. That is enough." Over the next 2 weeks, lived in the back room of the repair shop. He felt ashamed at first. They were clearly poor. Their shop was falling apart. They ate simple food and wore old clothes, yet they shared everything with him. Moth taught how to repair the kind of engines that came through the station, showed him which merchants were fair and which ones cheated. Slowly, started earning small amounts of credits by helping in the shop. It was not much, but it was something. The other species on the station treated them badly, saw it every day. Merchants refused to pay them fair prices. Station security pushed them around. Other travelers made jokes about their slow movements and gentle nature. They never fought back. They just kept working, kept being kind. "Why do you let them treat you this way?" asked Moth one evening. Moth was fixing a power converter. His thick fingers moved carefully over the wires. "Fighting makes more fighting," he said. "We choose peace. It is harder, but it is better." "Even when they hurt you?" "Even then." Moth looked at with those big wise eyes. "Anger is easy. Kindness takes strength." Thought about Earth, his home. Humans knew a lot about anger. They had fought wars for thousands of years. His own grandparents had lived through the unification wars when Earth's nations finally became one. Humans understood fighting, but kindness like this was different. On his 17th day at the station, everything changed. Was helping organize spare parts when alarms rang through the station. His translation device picked up the emergency broadcast. Dominion ships approaching. All residents remain calm. Felt his blood turn cold. Everyone in the galaxy knew about They were tall reptilian creatures with scales like armor and teeth like knives. The Dominion conquered worlds and enslaved species. They believed only the strong deserved to survive. 3 massive warships docked at the station. Soldiers in black armor marched through the corridors. Their commander was a huge named. He had scars on his face and cold yellow eyes. Made an announcement. They were taking control of the station. Everyone had to pay tribute. Anyone who refused would be punished. The station authorities agreed immediately. They were too afraid to fight. But the worst part came next. Pointed at the district, the poor section where Moth's shop was located. "These creatures are useless," said. His voice was harsh and loud. "They produce nothing of value. They will work for us now. No payment, just work." Watched as soldiers started forcing families out of their homes. They took tools and food. They pushed the gentle creatures around. Moth stood in front of his shop, protecting behind him. A soldier raised his weapon. Something broke inside. These peaceful people had saved his life. They had shared everything when they had almost nothing. Now they were being hurt because they were kind and weak. He ran back into the shop. In his escape pod, he still had his emergency communicator. It was almost dead, but it had one function left. One quantum message that could reach across space. He had been saving it to call for rescue. But now he had a different idea. Typed fast. He included the station coordinates. He included everything about thee and what they had done for him. He included information about the occupation. His hands shook as he hit send. The message burned through the last of the communicator's power. It shot out into space, faster than light, heading toward human territory. Did not know if anyone would receive it. He did not know if anyone would care. One human and one small species against the Dominion. It seemed impossible. Outside, he heard crying. He heard Moth's calm voice trying to comfort her. He heard the heavy boots of soldiers and their cruel laughter. Sat in the dark back room and whispered to himself, "Please, someone hear this. They helped me. Someone please help them." He did not know that his message had already reached the first human relay station. He did not know that it was being forwarded to Earth at emergency priority. He did not know that in the halls of human power, people were already reading his words. All knew was that the had saved him when nobody else would. Now he could only hope that somewhere out there, someone would remember that kindness mattered. The station's lights dimmed as they took control of the power systems. In the darkness, heard Moth's voice through the wall. "Do not worry. Good things come to good people, you will see." Hoped with all his heart that Moth was right. The message reached Earth Defense Command at 3 in the morning, Geneva time. Admiral was already awake. He was always awake these days. 60 years old with gray hair and tired eyes, he had spent 40 years protecting human space. He had seen wars, betrayals, and losses. Nothing surprised him anymore. But this message was different. His aide, a young officer named Wu, brought him the decoded transmission, read it twice. Then he read it a third time. "Is this real?" asked. "Sir, the quantum signature is authentic. It came from registered cargo engineer. His ship was destroyed by pirates 3 weeks ago." Looked at the attached files. Pictures of the data about Station 47, information about the occupation, and words simple and clear. "They had nothing, they gave me everything. Now they are hurting them, please, they helped me, can we help them?" Closed his eyes. He had served through the unification wars when Earth's nations finally stopped fighting each other. He remembered the principles they had agreed on. Humanity would be better. Humanity would remember its friends. "Get me the Defense Council," he said. "Wake everyone up, this cannot wait." 2 hours later, 15 people sat in the emergency conference room. Some appeared on holographic screens from across the solar system. Admiral stood at the head of the table. "We have a situation," he began. He explained everything. The stranded engineer, the family, the occupation. Defense Minister spoke first. He was a practical man who counted costs. "Admiral, I understand your feelings, but one civilian. The Dominion has 100 warships. This could start a war." "It already is a war," said quietly. "They declared it when they enslaved people who helped our citizen. But they are not our allies. We have no treaty with them. They fed our man, they gave him shelter, they protected him." His voice was hard as iron. "What good is humanity's word if we abandon people who help us?" Ambassador had been listening carefully. She was younger than, with sharp eyes and a mind that understood politics. She worked in the diplomatic corps and had negotiated with dozens of alien species. Minister has a point about the cost, she said, but he is wrong about one thing. This is not about one civilian. This is about what humanity stands for. She tapped her data pad, bringing up a holographic map of local space. Look at this region. 50 independent stations, 100 minor species. All of them are afraid of all of them are watching us right now. What do you mean? Another counselor asked. This message is not secret. By now half the station knows a human called for help. Other species know. They are all waiting to see what we do. Leaned forward. If we do nothing, every species in this region learns that helping humans is worthless. We become just another race that only cares about power. And if we help, Minister asked, then we show the galaxy what humanity really means. We show them that we remember kindness. We make friends who will trust us. The debate continued for an hour. Some wanted to negotiate. Some wanted to send a small rescue team. Some wanted to do nothing. Finally stood up. Enough, I am making a decision. They helped our people when they had nothing to gain. They shared food they barely had. They risked anger to protect. We help our own. They are our own now. He turned to his aide. Commander Wu, send orders to the 3rd Fleet. Full mobilization. 42 warships, marine assault divisions, medical ships, support vessels. We leave in 72 hours. The room went silent. It was the largest fleet movement in 5 years. Admiral, Minister said carefully, the Council has not approved this. Looked at him with eyes that had seen too many battles. Then the Council can remove me when I return, but I am not leaving those people to suffer because we were afraid. Send the orders, Commander. Wu smiled. Yes, sir, right away, sir. As the meeting ended, approached. That was brave, maybe foolish, but brave. Will you come with us? Asked. We will need a diplomat. Of course. Someone has to explain to the galaxy why humanity sent an entire fleet for one man and his friends. Across human space, the mobilization began. Captain received his orders on the frigate Lightning Strike. He was known as an aggressive commander, someone who never backed down from a fight. When he read about he called his crew together. We are going to Station 47, he announced. A human is in danger. The people who saved him are in danger. We are going to fix that. His crew cheered. They were ready. At Station 47, 3 days had passed since sent his message. They were everywhere now, had declared himself station master. He forced them to work 20 hours a day. He took their food. When anyone complained, soldiers beat them. Tried to help, but he was just one man. Moth and were exhausted. Other families were suffering. Children cried from hunger. The elderly collapsed from overwork. One night sat with Moth in the repair shop. The old was fixing a weapon. His hands shook with tiredness. I sent a message, said quietly, to my people. I told them what you did for me. Moth looked at him with sad eyes. Will they come? I do not know, but if they do, stopped. It seemed impossible. They were so strong. Earth was so far away. You hope they will come, Moth said. It was not a question. Yes, because we remember. Humans remember people who help us. We do not forget kindness. Moth smiled a little. Then I will hope with you. Far above the station, in deep space, sensors picked up something strange. Ripples in quantum space. The kind of ripples that happened before ships arrived from faster-than-light travel. Big ripples, many ships. On the command ship, an officer reported too. Commander, we are detecting quantum signatures, multiple contacts. They are still far away, but they are heading toward us. Barely looked up from his meal. Probably traders, ignore them. Sir, the signatures are large, very large. How many ships? I count 42, sir. No, 43 more appearing. Now paid attention. He stood up and walked to the sensor display. His yellow eyes widened. "What fleet is this? Whose ships?" The officer checked the identification codes. When he saw the answer, his scales turned pale. "Sir, they are human." Laughed, it was a cold, harsh sound. "Humans for this tiny station, they are bluffing, keep watching." But in the back of his mind remembered stories. Humans were a young race. They had only been in space for 200 years, but every species that fought them learned the same lesson. Humans did not stop. Humans did not surrender. Humans held grudges. Still, this was absurd. An entire fleet for one person. The quantum ripples grew stronger. The human ships were coming fast, very fast. On Earth, the news spread. People watched as the Third Fleet prepared to leave. Reporters asked why humanity was risking war for one stranded engineer and some aliens nobody had heard of. Admiral gave one interview before departure. The reporter asked the obvious question. "Admiral, is one human worth starting a war?" Looked directly at the camera. "They are not warriors. They are not powerful. They are just kind. They helped when nobody else would. They shared food when they were hungry. They gave shelter when they had little space. If humanity will not protect people like that, then what is humanity worth?" The reporter tried again, but the cost. "The cost of being human," interrupted, "is that we must act like humans. We remember our friends, all of them. No matter how small, no matter how far, they are our friends now. We do not abandon our friends." The interview ended. The fleet departed. 43 warships, thousands of Marines, and one simple message sent ahead on all frequencies. "Dominion, this is Earth Fleet Command. You are occupying Station 47. You are harming the people. You are threatening our citizen. You have 96 hours to withdraw. Leave the station. Leave the alone. If you do not, we will make you leave." In the Galactic Council chambers, representatives from 100 species watched the human fleet move. Most thought humans were insane. They were powerful. This would be a massacre. But a few species, the small ones, the weak ones, the ones everyone ignored, they watched with different eyes. They watched and wondered. If they helped a human, would humanity remember them too? The human fleet arrived exactly 96 hours after the warning. They came out of quantum space like a storm, 43 warships in perfect formation. But they were not alone. Behind the warships came other ships, medical vessels with red crosses on their hulls, construction ships with repair equipment, transport ships full of supplies. On Station 47 was helping Moth repair a water pump when the alarms rang. But this time, the alarm was different. This time, it was not a warning. It was something else. "Hoping." "Human ships detected," the station's computer announced. "Multiple human ships detected." Dropped his tools and ran to the nearest window. Moth followed him. Outside in the black space, they saw the fleet. Ship after ship, big and powerful, with Earth's blue flag painted on their sides. "They came," Moth whispered, his voice shook. "Your people came." Felt tears on his face. "I told you, we remember." All across the station, people stopped working. They stared at the human fleet. Even the soldiers looked worried. In the command ship, stood before his war council. His officers were nervous. "Should we withdraw, Commander?" one asked. His claws scraped against the metal table. "No, humans are soft. They make threats but do not fight. We have conquered 100 worlds. What are humans? A young race. Barely in space for 2 centuries. They will not risk war over this worthless station." "But Commander, their fleet is for show. We stay. We show the galaxy that they fear no one." It was the biggest mistake of life. Admiral stood on the bridge of the carrier. Around him, screens showed every ship in the fleet. Captain's frigate was on the left flank. Medical ships waited in the back. Marine were ready. Ambassador stood beside. "Should I try negotiating again?" she asked. "Send one more message," said. His voice was tired. "Give them one last chance." Opened a channel to the Commander, this is Ambassador of Earth. We ask you one final time, leave the station peacefully. Let the civilians go. No one needs to die today. His reply was sharp and mean. Go home, human. This station is ours. They are ours. Your pathetic fleet does not scare us. If you attack, we will destroy you, and then we will destroy every human station we can find. Closed her eyes, she looked at. He refused. Nodded slowly. He opened the fleet-wide channel. All ships, this is Admiral. We did not want this fight. We gave them every chance. But they chose violence. They chose to hurt people who cannot defend themselves. We will show them why that was a mistake. But first, we save the innocent. He switched to the station's public frequency. Attention all civilians on Station 47. This is Earth Fleet. We are here to help. If you want to leave, go to docking bays 12 through 18. We will evacuate you. You are safe now. Medical ships moved forward. They docked at the civilian sections. Human soldiers in white armor came out, not to fight but to help. They carried food and medicine. They helped the elderly and children. Ran through the corridors toward the docking bay. He found Moth and with other families. They were afraid and confused. Come on, shouted. My people are here, they will protect you. A soldier tried to stop them. Nobody leaves. Then a human marine stepped forward. She was tall and strong, with armor that had seen many battles. Her name tag said Jin. These people are leaving, Jin said calmly. You can step aside or you can try to stop me. Choose fast. The looked at her weapon, then at her eyes. He saw something there that scared him more than any weapon. He stepped aside. Jin helped Moth and onto the medical ship, hugged them. You are safe now, I promise. For 2 hours, the evacuation continued. Thousands of civilians left the station. Humans and dozens of other species. The soldiers watched but did not stop them. They were waiting for orders from. Finally, the last civilian ship departed. The station was quiet. Only soldiers remained, and the few residents too stubborn or scared to leave. Admiral opened one last channel too. Your people are trapped in that station. Mine are safe. You can still leave. Never roared. All ships attack the humans, show them power. The warships moved forward. They were big and intimidating, with thick armor and heavy weapons. 3 against 43, but believed in their strength. The battle began. Ships fired first. Missiles and plasma beams shot toward the human fleet. For a moment, it looked like the attack would work. Then the human point defense systems activated. Thousands of small guns on every human ship turned toward the incoming missiles. They fired so fast it looked like solid beams of light. Every missile exploded before reaching the human ships. Every plasma beam hit shields that absorbed the energy. Captain smiled on the bridge of lightning strike. Their weapons are 40 years old. Did they really think that would work? All ships returned fire. The human fleet fired back, but they did not use the same weapons. They used rail guns, magnetic weapons that fired solid metal at incredible speeds. The shields were designed to stop energy weapons, not solid objects moving at a fraction of light speed. Metal slugs punched through armor like paper. One ship lost its engines. Another started spinning out of control. Impossible, shouted. Focus fire on their flagship. They concentrated their attack on its carrier, but human ships moved to protect it. Frigates like lightning strike danced around the warships, firing from every angle. They were strong but slow. Humans were fast and worked together like a school of fish. Sir, they are trying to retreat to the station, an officer reported. Do not let them hide behind civilians, ordered. Marines, prepare for boarding action. This was what humans were truly good at, not just shooting from far away, but getting close, fighting in narrow corridors and dark rooms. Marine launched from the carriers. They were small and fast, covered in armor. Ships tried to shoot them down, but they were too quick. They attached to the hulls like insects. Inside, the Marines prepared their weapons. Sergeant hand checked his squad. Remember your training, are tough but they are not smart. They charge straight ahead, use that. The cut through the hull, Marines poured inside. The soldiers charged at them, roaring and shooting, but humans did not charge back. They used cover. They used teamwork. One soldier would shoot high, another low. They moved like dancers, never staying in one place. Fought with rage, humans fought with precision. On command ship, alarms rang everywhere. Marines were inside. 2 engines were destroyed. The hull was breaching in 6 places. How are they doing this? Screamed. We are the strongest. An old officer spoke quietly. Strength is not enough, Commander. They are better than us. Roared and shot the officer. Then he grabbed his personal weapon. All soldiers to the bridge, we make our stand here. But it was too late. Human Marines were already cutting through the bridge doors. When the doors fell, Sergeant Han walked in. Behind him, 20 Marines aimed their weapons. Raised his gun, Han shot it out of his hands. Surrender, Han said. You are beaten. Do not surrender. Then die, your choice. Looked at his remaining soldiers. They were young and scared. He thought about all the species he had conquered. He thought about his pride. And he thought about dying in this worthless place for a battle he should never have fought. Slowly put down his weapon. Outside, the battle was over. 2 ships were disabled. The 3rd had surrendered. Human ships surrounded them, weapons ready. On the medical ship carrying the Moth and watched through a window. They saw the great warships floating helplessly. They saw the human fleet in perfect formation. I do not understand, said. They have conquered so many. How did the humans win so easily? Stood behind them. He was tired but smiling. Because humans learned something a long time ago. Power without purpose is useless. We fight for each other. We fight for our friends. That makes us strong. But it was just me, Moth said. His voice was soft. I just gave you food and a room. You gave me hope, said. You showed me that kindness exists in the galaxy. That is worth fighting for. On the Admiral received reports. 12 human soldiers wounded. None dead. 3 ships captured. Station 47 secure. All civilians safe. Ambassador stood beside him. We won, but now the hard part begins. The Galactic Council will ask questions. They will want revenge. Nodded. Let them ask. Let them try. They need to learn something. Humanity protects its friends, all of them, no matter how small, no matter how far. He opened a channel to the medical ships. This is Admiral. Please tell Keeper Moth that is safe. Tell him that they are safe. Tell him that humanity thanks him for protecting one of our own. In the medical bay, a human doctor delivered the message to Moth. The old cried, not from fear or pain, but from relief and joy. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for remembering. The doctor smiled. That is what we do, we remember. The day after the battle, human ships surrounded Station 47 like protective birds around a nest. But these were not warships anymore. These were builders. Engineering teams arrived in yellow construction ships. Their leader was a woman named. She was short and strong, with grease already on her hands. She looked at the damaged station and smiled. All right, people, she told her crew. This station protected one of our own. Now we make it better than new. Let us get to work. They watched in amazement. Human engineers fixed broken power lines. They repaired water systems. They replaced damaged hull plates. And they did it all for free. When Moth tried to pay them, laughed. Pay us? Friend, your people saved when nobody else would. This is the least we can do. Besides, we enjoy fixing things. Medical teams worked in the station's hospital. They treated the injured, prisoners included. A soldier, wounded in the battle, stared at the human doctor working on his arm. Why do you help me? They asked. I tried to kill your people. The doctor, an older man named, did not look up from his work. Because you are hurt, that is enough reason. Do not help their enemies. We are not, said simply. We are human, we help. On the third day, Admiral asked to meet Keeper Moth and his daughter, brought them to the big carrier that led the fleet. They walked through corridors full of soldiers and crew members. Everyone nodded respectfully at Moth and, in the Admiral's office, stood when they entered. He was tall for a human with gray hair and kind but tired eyes. He bowed to Moth, a deep bow of respect. Keeper Moth said, "I am Admiral, thank you for protecting. Thank you for showing the galaxy what true kindness looks like." Moth was confused. "But Admiral, you came with an entire fleet. You risked war, all for one person and my small family. We should thank you." Smiled, it made him look younger. "You shared food when you were hungry. You gave shelter when you had little room. You protected from danger when you could have turned him away. In my culture, such kindness creates a debt that must be honored." "There is no debt," Moth said quickly. "We helped because it was right." "Exactly," replied. "You helped because it was right, not for profit, not for power, because it was right. That is rare in the galaxy. That deserves to be protected." Spoke for the first time. She was shy but curious. "Will you leave now that they are gone?" "Some ships will leave," said, "but not all. Captain and his frigate will stay near this sector, and we have a proposal for your people." He brought up a holographic document. Ambassador entered the room and stood beside the display. Keeper Moth said, "Humanity would like to offer the people a formal alliance, trade agreements, technology sharing, and most important, a defense pact. Any attack on the will be treated as an attack on humanity." Moth's big eyes grew even bigger. "But why? We have nothing to give you. We are not warriors. We are not rich. We have no resources you need." Leaned forward. "You have something more valuable than resources. You have honor. You have kindness. Those are the qualities humanity values most. We would be proud to call thee our friends." "Friends," Moth repeated the word softly. "Yes, I would like that." Across the galaxy, in the great hall of the Galactic Council, the news spread fast. Humanity had sent a fleet to save one civilian. They had beaten and now they were offering protection to a species with no military power at all. Many species laughed. The ambassador, a proud insect-like creature, made a speech. "Humans are fools. They make friends with the weak. They waste resources on those who cannot benefit them. This is why they will never be a great power." But not everyone agreed. In the back of the chamber, dozens of smaller species listened carefully. Species that were always ignored. Species that lived in fear of stronger neighbors. They heard a different message. Humanity protects its friends, even the weak ones. Ambassador traveled to the council to give Earth's official statement. She stood at the speaking platform, surrounded by hundreds of alien delegates. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," she began, "you have asked why humanity sent an entire fleet for one engineer and one family. You think we are foolish. You think we wasted resources. I am here to tell you that you do not understand humanity." The chamber was silent, continued. "They had nothing. They were poor. They were powerless. When needed help, every other species on that station turned away. But not they shared their food. They gave him shelter. They taught him. They protected him. They did this knowing they would receive nothing in return." She looked around the chamber. "That is not weakness. That is strength. That is the kind of strength humanity recognizes and respects. We learned something in our history. Power without purpose is just violence. True strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves." A delegate interrupted, "But the cost?" "The cost?" His voice grew sharp. "The cost is nothing compared to the value, because now the galaxy knows something new about humanity. We remember every act of kindness, every helping hand, every moment of compassion. We remember it all, and we repay it." She pressed a button. Images appeared on the screens around the chamber. Images of human ships helping rebuild the station. Images of human doctors treating the wounded. Images of children playing safely under human protection. "This is humanity," said We do not conquer, we do not enslave, we protect our friends. And they are our friends now. Any species that helps our people will find friends in us. Any species that harms those who show us kindness will find something else entirely. She finished her speech and walked out. Behind her, the chamber erupted in argument, but she did not care. She had said what needed to be said. Back at Station 47, life slowly returned to normal. The human engineers finished their repairs. The station looked better than it had in decades. New power systems hummed smoothly. Fresh air circulated through clean corridors. The docking bays had proper equipment now. Stood in Moth's repair shop looking around. The shop had been upgraded too. New tools hung on the walls. Better equipment sat on the work tables. It was a gift from the human engineering teams. "What will you do now?" Moth asked. "Will you go home to Earth?" Thought about it. He had sent messages to his family. They were safe and happy that he survived. Earth had offered to send him home on a passenger ship. But when he looked at Moth, and at the station full of species learning to trust each other, at the future that was being built here, he knew his answer. "I think I will stay," said. "If that is all right. Humanity needs a liaison officer here, someone to help maintain the friendship with the... I would like to be that person." Moth smiled, that slow, warm smile that made everything better. "We would like that too." "Hugged, you brought us an armada," she said, laughing and crying at the same time. "We gave you a room and some food, and you brought us an entire fleet." Hugged her back. "No, you gave me hope when I had none. You showed me that kindness still exists in the universe. That is worth more than any fleet." That evening, Captain came to say goodbye. His frigate was being assigned to patrol this sector, but he had to report to command first. "You did a good thing," said. "That message you sent, it reminded us why we wear these uniforms, not just to fight, to protect, to remember the good people." "Will more humans come?" Moth asked. Nodded. "Traders, teachers, engineers. Humanity is interested in the now. Not to conquer or control, to learn from you, to be friends." After left sat with Moth on the observation deck. They watched the stars. Some of the human fleet was leaving, returning to Earth, but several ships remained, keeping watch. "I am still confused," Moth said quietly. "We did such a small thing. Why did humanity respond so strongly?" Thought about his answer. He thought about Earth's history, the wars, the suffering, the long climb to peace. "Because humans learned something painful," he said finally. "We learned that the galaxy is hard and cold. We learned that most species only care about power. So when we find kindness, real kindness, we protect it. Because if we do not, the galaxy becomes even harder and colder. And the showed you kindness. Yes, you did it without thinking. You did it because it was right. That is precious, Moth. That is worth fighting for." They sat in silence for a while. Then Moth asked, "What happens now?" Smiled. Now we show the galaxy that friendship is stronger than conquest, that kindness is more powerful than fear. Together." "Together," Moth agreed. Above them the stars shined bright, and around those stars across the galaxy other species watched and wondered, the small ones, the weak ones, the ones everyone ignored. They all heard the same story. A human was stranded, they helped him. Humanity sent a fleet. And they all thought the same thing. What would humanity do for us if we helped them too? 6 months passed. Station 47 became a different place. Human traders came with goods to sell and buy. Craftwork, beautiful and precise, became popular on Earth. The station grew bigger. New sections were built. Species that once avoided the station now came regularly. But the changes went beyond one station. In a hidden message channel, a small bird-like species called the sent a careful message to Earth. Their world was under attack by raiders, but they mentioned something else. A human research team had been on their planet 3 months ago. They had protected them from a storm, shared their homes, kept them safe. "We do not ask for much," the message said, "but we helped your people. We hope you remember." Captain received the message on lightning strike. He was patrolling near the home system. He read the message twice, then smiled. "Set course for Prime," he ordered. "Maximum speed." "Sir, should we call for backup?" his tactical officer asked. "Send the message to command, but we are not waiting. They helped our people. We help them now." Lightning strike arrived 14 hours later. The raiders were still attacking, 3 small warships looting cities. When they saw the human frigate, they tried to run. They did not make it far. The ship was faster. The raiders surrendered without a fight. On Prime, the bird-like aliens stared at the human ship in the sky. Their leader, an old female named Kai, sent a message. "You came, you really came." "You protected our researchers," replied. "That makes you our friends. Friends protect friends." The story spread. Other species heard. The pattern became clear. Help humans and humanity remembers. Humanity responds, not with demands or control, but with friendship and protection. Within 3 months, 20 small species had contacted Earth. All of them had helped human travelers, explorers, or traders. All of them now had human friends. The Galactic Council noticed. The strong species were worried. The ambassador complained again. "Humans are building an alliance of the weak. This upsets the balance of power." Ambassador stood before the council again. "You call them weak. We call them friends. There is a difference." "But what do you gain from these alliances? These species have nothing." Smiled. "They have honor. They have kindness. They have the courage to help strangers. Those are the things humanity values. Those are the things we protect." But not everyone was happy with the changes. In the dark halls of the High Command, military leaders planned revenge. They had lost face when humans defeated. They had lost territory as species joined the human alliance. They could not allow this to continue. High Commander called a war council. He was older than harder and meaner. He had conquered 20 worlds. He had destroyed 6 species. He did not accept defeat. "The humans think kindness is strength," said. His voice was cold. "We will teach them the truth. We will show them that kindness is weakness." He pointed to a star map. At the center was a blue planet. We attack here. We destroy we show the galaxy what happens to those who accept human protection." His officers worried. "Commander," the humans responded with an entire fleet for one station. "What will they do if we attack Claws scratched the table. "I do not care. We are the strongest. Let the humans come. We will destroy them too." They assembled their fleet. 40 warships, bigger and better armed than the ones at Station 47. They moved toward space. On the sensors detected the approaching fleet. Fear spread across the planet. They had no military. They had no weapons. They had only their alliance with humanity. Keeper Moth was there, visiting his brother's family. He stood in the capital city and watched the sky hopping. The warning message reached Earth in minutes. Emergency channels lit up across human space. In the Defense Command Center, Admiral read the report. "They are attacking the 40 ships. They will arrive in 6 hours." His staff looked at him. Everyone waited. Did not hesitate. "Send the order, every ship, every fleet, every marine division. We mobilize everything." "Sir, that is 300 ships, every carrier we have." "The threatened our friends, all of them, every single. We show them what that means." His voice was iron. "We show them why you do not threaten our friends." The mobilization was incredible. Every human fleet scattered across dozens of systems received the same order: return to space, maximum speed, no exceptions. The third fleet, already near territory, arrived first. Admiral stood on this bridge and watched the fleet approach the planet. "Open a channel," he ordered. High Commander appeared on the screen. He looked confident and cruel. "Admiral, we meet again. Look at my fleet. 40 ships, more than enough to burn the world. Your pathetic alliance ends today. His face showed no emotion. You have one chance, Commander. Leave now. Leave and never return. Laughed, or what? You have what, 40 ships? I have 40 ships. We are equal. No, said quietly. We are not equal because I do not fight for conquest. I fight for my friends. And Commander, you made a mistake. You threatened all of them. He pressed a button. Across space, quantum signatures appeared, hundreds of them. Ships appeared from faster-than-light travel, human ships. The second fleet arrived from the galactic north. The first fleet came from Earth itself. The fourth fleet, usually stationed near human colonies, came from the east. The fifth fleet, humanities, came from the south. 317 warships appeared around every carrier, every battleship, every frigate and destroyer that humanity possessed. They formed a wall of steel between thee and the planet. And they were not alone. Behind the human ships came others, transport ships converted with weapons, scout vessels, ships from 20 other species that humanity had befriended. They were small, but they were there. On his command ship, felt fear for the first time in his life. His 40 ships looked tiny compared to the human fleet. This was not a battle. This was not even a war. This was a demonstration of power. Impossible, he whispered. They mobilized their entire military for one species, for the weak. His voice came over the channel again. You called them weak. You were wrong. Strength is not just about weapons and armor. Strength is about standing together, about protecting each other. They have that strength, and now they have us. He leaned forward. You have two choices, Commander. You can leave now alive and tell every that humanity protects its friends. Or you can attack, and we will destroy every single one of your ships. Then we will visit thee and have a conversation about threatening our allies. Choose now. Looked at the fleet surrounding him, 300 human ships with weapons locked on his position. His own fleet was powerful, but it was not enough, not against this. He thought about his pride, he thought about honor, and he thought about surviving to see tomorrow. Fleet, he said slowly, each word painful. We withdraw. The ships turned and fled. They jumped to faster-than-light travel as fast as they could. They did not fire a single shot. People watched the sky. They saw the leave. They saw the massive human fleet in orbit protecting them. In the capital city, Keeper Moth fell to his knees and cried. Was there, having come with the third fleet. He ran to Moth and helped him stand. They came, Moth said, all of them for us. Of course they came, said. You are our friends, all of you. Humanity does not abandon its friends. Ambassador stood on the planet's surface, with leaders from the and 20 other species. Behind her, the sky showed hundreds of human ships. Today begins something new, she announced. The Galactic Council operates on power and fear. We propose something different, an alliance based on mutual respect and protection. Any species that wants to join us, that shares our values, is welcome. An elder spoke. What values? Simple ones, said. Help each other, protect each other. Remember kindness. Stand together against those who would hurt the innocent. We call it the human principle. Within a week, 50 species asked to join. Not the strong ones or the rich ones. The small ones. The ones everyone ignored. The ones who understood kindness because they had to practice it to survive. The Galactic Council was furious. Half of the minor species were leaving to join the human alliance. The balance of power was shifting. But there was nothing they could do, because behind every species that joined stood the human fleet, and humanity had proven one thing clearly. They protected their friends, all of them, with everything they had. 1 year after sent his desperate message from Station 47, he sat with Keeper Moth on the observation deck. The station was 5 times bigger now. Ships came and went constantly. Humans and dozens of other species traded and talked and became friends. I still cannot believe it, Moth said. We gave you shelter for a few weeks. You changed the galaxy. shook his head. No, you changed the galaxy. You showed that kindness still exists, that it matters. We just reminded everyone that kindness should be protected, not exploited. And learning slowly. They attacked 2 more allied species last month. The human fleet responded both times. They are starting to understand. It is easier to be our friend than our enemy. Moth was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, what happens next? Smiled, next. We keep building, keep making friends. Keep showing the galaxy that there is a better way than conquest and fear. Together. Together, Moth agreed. On Earth, in the halls of government, a new motto appeared on the walls. It was written in 100 languages, including, it said, "We remember, we protect, we are human." And across the galaxy, in small stations and on minor worlds, species that had been ignored for centuries looked up at the stars and felt hope. Because humanity had proven something important, something that changed everything. Kindness was not weakness, kindness was strength. And humanity would protect that strength, always. The message was clear. Help one human and humanity responds with an entire fleet. Help humanity and you gain friends who will never forget you. In the darkness of space, that was a light worth following. And humanity made sure that light never went out.